Now boarding our first class Ultra Gold passengers. Welcome into Other People's Shoes, the podcast that takes you on an extraordinary journey through the lives of others, where empathy knows no bounds. Your host, Neil Matthews, is absolutely thrilled that you're here. Please take your seat as we're about to take flight into season 16. Be sure to hold on tight, because Take Flight isn't just about the skies above. It's about the depths within. We'll dive headfirst into the stories of those who faced turbulence and yet found the strength to rise above it all. So grab your headphones and get ready to soar with us as we launch into season 16. Thank you for flying with us. Buckle up and let's take flight.
Welcome into Other People's Shoes. As you know, I am your host, Neil Matthews. So excited that you've taken flight with us today. I hope your tray table is in the upright position. I hope you brought along your AirPods and that they are fully charged. I hope today you walk away with everything that you brought with you on the plane today. Never fails. I truly have left things not only in rental cars, I've left things on planes, and it's not a fun experience. I'm just telling you right now. So don't worry. We got to the gate on time. You're okay. Everything was okay. We had a little turbulence along the way as we flew out here, but don't worry. Everything's okay now. Stand by. We're on our way into taking off today. Join me now, the seat next to you, as you buckle in and settle in. The seatbelt sign has been turned on. Help me welcome in my new friend, Kylee. Kylee, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Kylee, for that. That's very kind. So, Kylee, help me with this. You were in
Rhode Island.
That's close to New Jersey.
You know, it's okay. Most people don't know there's anything north of New York. There is, and that's where I am.
So Rhode Island. So help me with this. Are you near Providence, Rhode Island?
I am as far away as you can be from it. I am at the very bottom of the state. I'm basically in Connecticut.
You're basically in Connecticut. So you could drive like 2 minutes and be in Connecticut, I feel like.
Yes.
Okay.
If you make a wrong turn, I will be in Connecticut.
Wow. Now, Rhode Island, we've been there once. Now, this is twice we've been to Rhode Island. So the first time it was kind of sad we were in Rhode Island. It was a sad story. So today you're going to pick us up and bring us into this newfound freedom of being in this airspace of fun and excitement.
Awesome. I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Well, help me with this, because we'd love to lead off every show with this question, and that's this. What style of shoe do you love to wear?
Style of shoe. Oh, that's so hard. Like, it depends on
I never
the situation.
knew this would be such a hard question for you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, if I had to pick one forever and ever, amen, it would be my tennis shoes.
Okay, help me with that. Like, what style, what kind of brand? I mean, because tennis shoes very generic. Ooh, Asics. Okay, all right. Now we're talking.
My Asics.
Do you know what
decent
kind of
tread.
Asics?
I don't know what it's called, but it's got some decent tread. I don't need that light stuff. Like, I
Okay.
need to be able to do a lot of things in these.
So I ran in the Asics Noosa.
You are fancy.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
triathlon shoe, and it's very brightly colored no matter what. And the ones I loved the most were the Asics Noosa Tri 8s, I think. They had an ocean mist was the color, and the reason why I loved it is because they were light blue. I know, shocking to those that would listen right now. They're like, really, Neil, the Asics were light blue? Huh, who would have known? Nobody would have ever guessed that. It's kind of an obsession. Light blue is sort of kind of my color, my team color, if you will.
Makes sense.
Makes
Yeah,
sense,
sure.
right? My cord is light blue. My other cord is everything's light blue.
We go light blue here too, but it's for the Cowboys. So,
Ooh, or your Rhode Island Rams.
I'm not from here.
I'm not from here. Can I say
I
that
don't
about
care about
Oregon, though, that I've lived here since I was 12? Can I still say I'm not from here if I've lived here that long? Just asking for a
Yes.
friend, not asking for me, just a friend.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'll claim Texas every day.
Really?
All the time.
All the time, every time.
But I'm not going back.
Texas born, Texas bred, I think they say. We're in this new season. Our show's birthday is on the horizon. Like, it's close. Our show turns 5 years old next Monday. So it's very exciting. So you're getting in just under the wire of our birthday celebration, which is okay. For you, when you thought about and when we were interacting about this whole take flight thing, this whole being on an airplane thing, or this whole taking off and really soaring and spreading our wings, what resonated with you with that?
Everything is always about being intentional, and you don't just accidentally get on a plane. You have to plan for that. You've got to know where you want to go. You've got to book the ticket. You've got to plan what's going to go in your suitcase. It's all about being intentional. Where are you going? Where are you headed?
I would imagine most people struggle with intentionality.
Yes, 100%.
Why is that in your experience? Has that ever been you? Have you ever struggled with that intentionality?
I am the oldest of 4 children. I am very type A. No, I can't think of a time that I've struggled with that. It's such an easy thing to struggle with. It takes intentionality. It takes planning. It takes extra effort. That's why it's so hard to figure out what's going to be for dinner tonight. You know what? I don't worry about that because I planned it a month ago and because I hate worrying about it the day of. But that takes so much more work, forethought, and planning and scheduling. We're not taught to do that as a culture in schools, any of that. And so it just takes this extra work. Same as it's hard to budget, to know where your money's going, to what's happening there, because it takes so much extra work and effort. And these are not things that we're taught.
So why do you think we're never taught these things? Because I agree with you. For the longest time, well, I think the word is I procrastinate. I think, oh, I'll do that later. Well, I'll get back to that. I'll make that happen when. And so for the first time in a long time, been really trying to be more intentional with the show specifically, because that's one area that I can control. There's some other stuff I can't control. There's some other stuff that's out of my hands. But man, this little thing, the show, I can control. I can be intentional. The more work I put in, the more work it seems to kind of get back. You got to give to get, which my wife absolutely hates that phrase, give to get. Help me with that. Like you said, you've never probably struggled with procrastination. Is that really you?
Yes, that's fair. I have my moments of procrastination. They don't last very long. I was the kid who got my homework done because I wanted it out of the way and didn't want to stress about it. My mom, my siblings, complete opposite. That's okay. So that might be a little bit of personality there. Your first question was, why are we not taught this? Different mode of education. We were homeschooled. We were taught some of these things. My understanding is the public school did not teach that. I don't know if I can tell you why. I think it's just a follow the script. Follow what you're told to do. Step in line. Just do what you're told. Learn the thing. We are not necessarily taught in our culture, think critically, go outside the box, ask questions of things. The school system, which was set up for the Industrial Revolution to create factory workers to be able to fall in line and do exactly what you were told. You go to school, you do this, you learn how to go down the line, you go into the factories. That's when our public school education was set up, and it hasn't changed since then. If you actually want to get out of that, if you want to become a business owner, if you're going to think critically and ask why of things, the school system doesn't want you to do that, even though the school system is outdated because of when it was set up.
I think you are right in that respect. I think a lot of folks were taught one way. That's the only thing they're ever going to know. That's the only thing that they're ever going to be a part of. And they can't get out of the way of how they were raised or how they were taught. I was intrigued by what you're doing. Going into it to what I think you kind of specialize in is this idea of setting a goal, achieving a goal, getting a new goal, and then going after that again. That idea in this January month that we're in, undoubtedly, I'm sure somebody has set a New Year's resolution of some sort, whether it be weight loss, maybe it's get out of debt. Hey, I'm going to start a podcast. Maybe it's I'm going to write a book. And the fun word is New Year's resolutions. I think they're kind of phony. And 2 weeks from now, they're probably all going to be over and everybody's going to be like, man, I did so good. I lasted 3 weeks this year. Last year, I only lasted 1. How does Kylee set a goal, achieve a goal? How can someone else do that in your mind?
How Kylee sets a goal. We have a whiteboard in our living room. Me and my husband, we've married 11 years. We bought this whiteboard in our first 6 months of marriage at a garage sale because we had no money. It was not on sale at the garage sale we bought it at. It actually had listed the prices of the items at the garage sale. And I was like, I need the whiteboard. And the guy was like, it's not for sale. And
you couldn't even talk him down?
He goes, just take it. It's a quarter.
So you bought a whiteboard for a quarter at a yard sale. That's a great whiteboard.
And it still sits in our living room. We broke this down and we said, okay, what is our long-term vision? We have different boxes broken on this whiteboard. And okay, what's the long-term vision? That goes in one box. What are we going to do this year? What can I do in 2024 that's going to move me one step closer to that long-term vision? And then the next couple of boxes are, okay, what am I going to do this month for January? What can I accomplish in January that's going to move me closer to the goals for 2024? And then the other box is, don't forget. By the way, don't forget taxes. The car needs an oil change. The silly things that you just in adulthood, please don't forget these things this month. We need to get these done. So that's how we set our goals.
And who taught you that?
This was self-learned. This was me and my husband. I wouldn't say this didn't come out of our heads. Nothing new is under the sun. This was a combination of things that we pulled from, that we read. Heck, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was 13 years old. I had all of these things going for me, but it wasn't until I got married and we said, okay, here's what our parents did really well. and here's what they didn't, and here's what we want our future to look like. And we need to start right this very minute. We're not going to wake up 10 years from now and go, oof, that's like not how that was supposed to go. And now we're like scraping ourselves out of something. We knew we had a very clear vision of what we wanted our future to look like, and we needed to get to work right away. When we were going through all of this, I said, we need this in front of us all the time. As tacky as it is, we keep a whiteboard in our living room and have from the day we bought that.
So that must be pretty amazing when you host dinner parties. Or have family game night. No, it's not for win, lose, or draw. Stop. No, don't. I need that. Hold on. You want to use it? Let me take a picture of it first so I can write it back later. But I love that idea. And I love the fact you can acknowledge we kind of learned this on our own. If somebody's listening to you right now and they're like, well, you know what? That's great for Kylee. That's fantastic. That's great for Romeo. Kylie's bow. I tried to put in that bow for Texas. You know, that was where that was coming from. But that's great for them. I can't do that. I'm not good at that. What would be your response?
That's fine. There is no one size fits all, except that you do need to have goals if you're going to live intentionally. That can look completely different for you. I will say the first step is always that vision. What does that look like for you? You start with asking yourself some questions. And I always encourage people, if you're married or in a relationship, you need to ask these of yourself, have your partner ask them, and then come together and discuss it. Okay, if we're going two different directions, how do we get on the same page? So just questions like, all right, let's just go 5 years out from now. What year is it 5 years from now? How old are you? How old are your kids? Where do you live? What do you do for a living? Is the dog still alive? Just to start to articulate this, we are not trained to think this far out. I took a class in college. It was like international business or something, or just dabbled in that. I don't even remember. They said that other countries than the US, when you talk long term, they're talking 30 to 50 years. And in the United States, our businesses are talking 5, maybe 10. And so if our top businesses in our country are only going 5 or 10 years out, what are the rest of us doing? And it's not that far. So I just challenge people, let's just go 5 years. If you can't do that, let's go 2. Then we can backtrack it and go, okay, if this is the vision for 2 years from now, what can you do this year to move towards that? But it's really just developing that vision first thing. And then we can break it down from there in a way that works for you.
So what happens if you don't have a vision?
That's why we ask those questions. You may not have a vision, and that's fine, but we're just going to keep digging into that. What year is it 5 years from now? Where does that put us? 2029?
2029, yeah.
You can answer that question if without a vision.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I could.
How old are you?
2029, I'm going to be 49. Yee.
All right. See, those are questions you can absolutely answer. You know the answers to those. How old are your kids? What grades are they going to be in? And then we start getting into those, what do I think I want? When I say, where do you live? What's a regular Tuesday look like? Is the dog alive? What's your parents' situation right now? Then it just kind of starts getting the wheels going, and we start to develop that vision. And the beautiful thing about starting with a vision is it's not clear cut. It is not perfect. I like to say it this way. If you're going to travel across the country, I'm in Rhode Island. If I were going to travel to California, I know I want to get to a certain spot in California. I know that I need to go in that direction. I know I need to get in the car. I need to have gas. I need to be prepared for it. I don't know every turn. I don't know every road I'm going to go on. I don't know every road block. I don't know if there's going to be traffic along the way. I might get a flat tire and need to get a hotel someplace that I didn't plan on it. That's okay. But the vision is to get to California. So you don't have to know every single detail when you're figuring out your vision. I fought vision for a really long time. I was a vision board hater. Took a very dear friend to challenge me on this, help me understand, okay, you've got to begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey said that. You don't have to have all the answers, but you can take that and then set up your goals from there.
Is what you're saying takes work, takes energy, takes intentionality. That's scary for people.
Sure.
Even those that are of the faith, the Christian faith, because I think Jesus famously said, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's got enough for itself. Worry about today. So is that counterintuitive?
Great question. We can't take from tomorrow and worry about it. I do agree with that. I think we need to plan, and then there also may be seasons you didn't plan for. And I think that's where some of that comes into play. I think we need to live every day present. But you've got to know where you're going. Otherwise, you wake up and then suddenly you're going to bed, and what just happened? What was it all for? Why did you do it? Did you do anything to move the needle to where it is you want to be? If we're going to go there, I believe that we were each created for more with certain talents and gifts, and we're supposed to use those. In our culture, it's so easy to get caught up in how much is piled onto us, how much we sign everybody up for, and the directions that we're running, that it's really easy to lose that. If we're going to go with the Christian faith, the enemy can use that as distractions to not actually do what you were created to do, just because we're too busy and it's going to take extra work and intentionality to plan this stuff out and to make sure that we're being intentional every day. It is a lot of work. It's exhausting.
It's hard, one, to get quiet enough to figure out the vision. Once I have that nailed down, then it gets a little easier. Still takes a tremendous amount of work to really say, okay, where do I really want to go? And how am I going to get there? I loved your analogy of getting in the car in Rhode Island. You can go to California if you want. It seems kind of boring. You could come to Oregon. We have Crater Lake.
Okay, that's a better example.
I mean, California has Disneyland. I get that. That's probably more fun. Is you don't know every road you're going to be on. You don't know what every turn's going to look like. You know that's the end goal. So if I know the end goal needs to be this, I can kind of baby step it backwards. I call it Hansel and Gretel. Kind of throw breadcrumbs around to walk backwards from it. So I know to get to the finish line. I know how to walk that backwards. What's the danger for you if you didn't have a vision, if you didn't know where you were going? What would Kylie's life look like?
I would lose a sense of purpose because I know where I'm going, because I know what needs to be done daily. I can get up with purpose. And even when it feels mundane, I can live in the present. No, this is what's important and this is why. And I can keep that why in front of me all the time.
I'm just trying to figure out how somebody gets that drive. Usain Bolt famously said he trained 4 years to run 6 seconds. It's mind-boggling to me that the man spent 4 years to run 6 seconds. And he's one of the fastest men on the planet, as far as I know, statistically speaking, time-wise, gold after gold after gold. What was his vision? He knew where he was heading. He knew that one day he's going to have to run the best 6 seconds of his life, and he's going to spend 4 years getting ready to do that. To me, that's focus, that's drive, pushing away everything else to say, no, this is where I need to go. This is the lane I'm going to be in. There's so many times, going back to your driving analogy, where you see an off-ramp. Hey, let's check this out over here. A tourist trap. These amazing places that try to get you off the track. Maybe it's a family member, stress, a turbulent situation, going back to our flight analogy here. How does that keep Kylie on that straight and narrow? How did you do that so maybe others can do that?
Well, we start with vision. The vision's not perfect. The vision is very big picture. There's not necessarily an off-ramp or getting off track when it comes to your vision. It's far out there and it's big picture. You can change directions when necessary. We have that, and then we break down those goals.
Well, let's give you practicality so you have some real good clay to work with. If you're going to create some great pottery here, let's give you some great clay to work with. So I would love to one day quit my job, my normal 8 to 5, call what it is, 7:30 to 5:30 job. I would love to quit that one day and to do this full time, this being podcasting. That is my ultimate. If someone said right now, hey, Neil, what's your vision? What's your dream? What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I see myself in 5 years doing this professionally, either coaching people how to do this or having my own show, maybe syndicated, God knows what. But I want to be doing some form of podcasting full time. How do I get there, Kylie?
What is an example of your off-ramp in that situation?
So the off-ramp could be, great question, right back to me, true sign of a good host and guest. Actually, it's a terrible sign as a guest. The off-ramp, I'm just kidding.
It's the coaching.
Yeah, it's the coaching coming out in you right now. I get it. Teasing you on the guest thing. I think the off-ramp could be, if there's roadblocks that would say, or things that could distract me, like, oh, well, how are you going to have health insurance? Well, I don't know. That's a great question. Maybe I should keep my normal 7:30 to 5:30 job because I have health insurance. Well, what about if you need time off? How does that work? Do you have a team around you? Well, I don't know. I don't even know how I would get a team. Well, are you doing it in this exact room, or do you have like a rented studio? Well, I don't know. Should I have it at my house? Should I not? Should I even be a business? Should I not? I mean, there's so many little things. And let's be honest, I don't know if I have ADD. I don't know. People have said I do. I've never been tested, to quote Sheldon Cooper. My mom had me tested. I'm fine. I don't know all the right answers. No, that's where I want to get to. I just don't know how to get from Medford to not Providence because you're not there, near there, sort of.
Those are not roadblocks or off ramps. They're just detours. They're just solving the problem. In that case, it's not, oh, well, then I shouldn't do this. It's going, okay, well, then if this is a question, that could just be, okay, I just need to start asking questions. I need to start doing research. I need to start getting answers for these things. You've got your GPS and there's going to be different routes you're going to have to take because X, Y, and Z comes up in your route. That's okay. The problem is when you take a pit stop and you don't get back on the road, that's where you run into a problem. And that's where distraction comes. That's when you take that pit stop and you end up on on a commune that you didn't mean to, and now you're hanging out for 2 years and you're going, hold on, where did I get brainwashed? That wasn't part of the plan. I hate this with every fiber of my being. It's about the journey, not the destination. It makes me want to throw up, but it's true. I want to get to the destination and then move on to the next one. Unfortunately, we don't become the people who get our vision without going through the journey. Who do you want to be at the end of it?
I would just want to get there. I don't care about the stuff along the way.
We are driving through the night to get there.
I just want to get there. I want to get there. And my wife gives me a bad time all the time. She's like, we're on a hike. And she's like, why are you going 1,000,000 miles a minute? Because I want to get there. She's like, yeah, but look at all this stuff along the way. I'm like, yeah, cool. Take a selfie. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Nothing else in my life. I want to just get A to B. When I'm driving, it's an A to B situation. She's like, well, look at over here. We're playing golf. Look at the deer. I'm like, I'm focused on the goal, which is the hole. I don't care. Yes. Deer, get out of the way. Like I'm trying to hit here. I think there is a danger in that, isn't there? If you don't stop, or no, help me with that. You do stop. If you do take a moment to say, okay, all right, let's take a breath. Okay, I need to go again. Or no, should you just push through? Help me with that, because again, it's a struggle for me here being the show here. We haven't rested 2019. I have not missed a Wednesday episode of this show. And that is a long time. That is almost 5 years every week putting out a show. I haven't taken a break. Well, the show hasn't taken a break. I've taken a break sometimes mentally, but the show hasn't. But the show still needs to be edited, produced, sent out. And I'm afraid, I can't even believe I'm sharing this. I'm so afraid if I stop, I'm not going to keep going.
That you're not going to keep going, or that your audience will?
I care a lot about the audience. I'm such a nut when it comes to something that I'm passionate about that it's hard to think about stopping something. I got into running, and I was gun-ho running. I was running everywhere, 15, 20 miles a week. I was running 5Ks, racing 5Ks probably every month, once a month. I got runner of the year when I turned 38. That tells you how long ago it was. I'm 43 now, almost 44. I was so excited. And the idea now of going out and running a mile, I would rather have tarantulas crawl on me. And there were years ago that I was like, a mile? I could do that in my sleep. Like, what are we talking about here? 3 miles? Come on. What's your problem? Like, I can run 6. Come on. Keep up. It's gone because I stopped. And that is my fear with this show. If I stop, if I don't have a show every week and I stop and I miss, listen, I know the sun's still going to come up. The world's still going to spin around. North Carolina's still going to be amazing at basketball. I'm still going to get Kylie's name wrong. Whatever it may be, I'm so afraid that I'm not going to be able to keep going, that I'm not going to be able to take a break, stop, and then pick it back up again.
Is no longer being a runner a failure to you?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Is this my show or your show? Just kidding. I think I failed myself because I stopped. I just couldn't do it anymore. I let it go. And letting it go, I have a shoebox full of all the ribbons and the accolades that I got along the way. And now I look at it and I think, man, what happened? And I'm so afraid. I don't want the show to be like that. I don't want to look at all the shirts that I had made and the hoodies that I had made and all the stickers and the bracelets and everything and go, you had this amazing podcast, Neil, and now what? How do you help somebody like me?
Well, I want to ask you 10 more questions, but you don't seem to want that. It's not a coaching call.
Kylee, you specialize in things like this. Mm-hmm. What on earth made you want to help folks like me that come to you with these type of perplexing or Rubik's Cube type problems? Okay, fix it, make all the colors match. Why on earth would you want to do that?
Problem with everything else I've seen and read and done and listened to with goal setting is it doesn't bring that humanity piece in. We're not robots. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a runner, but why? And for how long? And do you really want to? Are you going to destroy your body in the process? Is it not going to be conducive to your relationships later on? Is it going to take away from other things that are more important and who you want to be? With that example, I completed a Spartan trifecta last year. 3 races, obstacles, you have to do it in a calendar year, blah, blah, blah. I don't do cardio. I don't run. I did this because it had obstacles and we pretty much hiked up ski slopes instead with our locations that we chose. Have I run since then? Nope. And that's okay because that's not who I wanted to be. The goal for that was mental. The goal was I want to do something that I think is kind of impossible for me. And this is going to challenge me and make me who I want to become on the other side of that. Prefer to ask you 10 more questions, but it's not a coaching call. Your example of running, maybe you came to a place where it wasn't the priority anymore. And that's okay. You don't have to decide this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life at some point. Same as our culture doesn't pick a job and stay at it for 40 years anymore. That's okay. And so that's why I think it's so important. I can help people develop their vision and break down their goals. And we'll dig into the SMART goals. And I'm going to clarify that for you and ask you certain questions about it and fix it. And again, it's not one size fits all. So how can we track our progress in this for a way that's going to suit you and you're not going to hate it? Most important piece of my program is it's okay to change course, to change the deadline, to change the focus, to say, you know what? I had a health scare and now I can't focus on podcasting, or my relationship isn't what I thought it was. And now podcasting is going to go on the back burner because that's more important right now. That's not a failure. That's recognizing what your priorities are and having to reorganize on occasion. And it's okay.
I don't know if it's okay, though. I think that's the hardest part right now. There was a time back in early October-ish, a guy at church came up to me and he said, "Hey, you got a second?" And I said, yeah, man, what's going on? "Hey, man, I listened to your show this last week, and man, it was so good, so great. I love that you drew that out of this guy, Wes. Man, it was so amazing. You truly have a gift for that." And I was like, "Man, thanks." And I walked away, and it was in that moment that I really felt God kind of nudge me and say, "And this is why you do what you do." And I don't say that because God's saying, "Go, keep going. You're doing great." But it was in that moment that I was really tottering and teetering on the verge of saying, "You know what? The heck with this. It's tough being a one-man band. It's tough trying to cultivate guests. It's tough trying to find people." But it was in that moment that I said, "Okay, I can go a little further." Mm-hmm. And I sat down and I said, "Where do I want to go?" This is before I even met you, by the way. But I think it was very providential that we met each other. Tottering, and I said, and teetering on the verge of saying, I'm done. I got this vision come to me. I'm listening to this rap song by NF. So whatever, say what you want. But he has this lyric where he says, "Take flight," and it froze me in my car. I almost rammed into somebody. Good thing I work at a body shop. But it froze me in my car. And I said, "You know what? That's it. That's season 16. We're going to take flight." And then you and I met. I thought, you know what? This is perfect because I need somebody to tell me that it's okay. It's okay if I want to take a break. So I dump all that in your lap to try to solve something.
Yeah, I have 10 thoughts. So let's see which ones I remember now. What he said to you, the guy who stopped you at church, what spurred that, you saying, you felt like God said, you were made to do this. This is why I do this, something like that. That doesn't mean it has to be in this format forever. That could change in a second. What was said to you was, this is your skill. This is the talent I gave you, and it might show up in a lot of different ways. And that's okay. And it is. And you don't get to decide where the next step is going to take you. There's only a couple of things we can control in our lives: our attitude, our schedule, how we're going to build relationships and interact with them. That's it. If the interviews stop coming, you get to decide what's next, how this looks.
I hear what you're saying. I think that's the beauty of folks like you who can really take somebody as raw, as broken, as dysfunctional, as cluttery, whatever it may be, because I'm sure you love clutter. You strike me as a person that just absolutely thrives and just gets so excited about clutter. Isn't that accurate?
I love cleaning it up.
I know, you and my wife should talk.
Let me get at it. You
and my wife should talk. Told me that if my shoes end up in the wrong spot, they're going to end up on the front lawn. So let's just say that. I'm the clutter bug or pig pen, and she is the free spirit. Yeah, there it is. That's a nicer way to say that. As we try to land our proverbial plane, I used to say that. Now it's actually accurate because I feel like we're on a plane today.
Yes.
You're driven and really focused because you think you have your superpower, if you will, is to really speak that kind of into chaos. Not that you're God or a goddess in any way, but you can speak into somebody's life to bring stability, to bring some structure. All words I hate: stability and definitely structure I hate. But you have that power. If somebody right now is listening to you and they're saying, "Man, if she can help Neil, holy Smokey the Bear, she can probably help me." How can somebody reach out and really learn and maybe find out if you are a good fit for them?
KylieRobinson.com is the best way. That's where you're going to find everything. If you really want to connect, and I offer a complimentary coaching call to just do what we just did and dig in and go, okay, where are you at? Let's just see. If this isn't a fit, that's fine. We're going to talk for an hour and we're going to dig into it, and you're going to get some coaching and some value out of it. You'll find that on my website or KylieRobinson.com/connect. And then my Instagram too, which I'm sure we can stick in the show notes. Jumping off point, again, my website, KylieRobinson.com/free. And that's 5 steps to stop procrastinating and break down your goal. Let's just get right to it there. Like I said, just that jumping off point and see, okay, can I start with this? Can I get through these worksheets? And then maybe it's time for us to connect and go, all right, let's just talk about it and see where you're at with things.
Now, I notice on Instagram, you and your husband have a little boy.
Yes, we do. Desmond is 6 years old, and we adopted him from Colombia almost 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What do you hope he learns from the two of you?
Intentionality. Live your life with intention. I don't care how he sets goals or what they look like or what they are. As long as you are moving on purpose, life isn't happening to you. That's our goal and plan and hope for him.
Do you think he's noticing any of that from you? Because I heard said years ago, more is caught than taught, which I don't.
It's hard to say right now. As a 6-year-old, he's been with us for less than 2 years. We've got a lot that we're working on. I don't know that I can answer that just yet. We're working on it.
Well, let's do some silliness now that I vomited on you all over the place. Sorry, it's never happened, so that's a first. Listen, I know you're not a big sports fan. I just kind of grabbed that about you. You're just not a huge college basketball fan, I'm guessing, right? Just not in your wheelhouse.
I am a Cowboys and Mavericks fan by marriage.
Will you love me for better or for worse, whether the Mavericks and Cowboys lose or not?
Didn't quite go down that way, but
I should have put that in my vows.
It's a nice thought. He probably regrets that.
Yeah, back in August, we celebrated 22 years. I thought, should we renew now? And I could add that in as an addendum, she must root for North Carolina. Anyway, we do this silly thing at the end of the show. It's called Senseless. And so we have these 6 random questions, and they're just fun. They're just fun. And
all right.
You don't have to answer all 6. You just have to answer 1. So here we go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And you got this magical number 3, which is right there. Okay. Number 3 is this. Are you reading anything interesting or watching anything, shows and movies right now that are interesting? Because, you're on a flight. So are you reading these? You're reading a book that's interesting, watching a movie or a show that's interesting? Please tell us if you are.
Yes, I am always reading something. Embrace Your Almost by Jordan Lee Dooley. All about embracing the seasons don't quite get where you want it to be. My current novel is Things We Never Got Over. And I am currently watching This Is Us because I don't watch shows until they're over because I need to have control over how often I get to watch them and how much I get to watch of them.
Wow.
That was very revealing.
Yes, it was. So far, do you like the show This Is Us? Because we loved it.
Yes.
We absolutely loved it. We cried, laughed, we cried some more, and it was good. We really enjoyed that show.
We loved Parenthood, and everyone said, oh, then you'll like this. And I was like, nope, I'm not touching it till it's over. So here we are. I don't even know how many years it's been out, but it's been a long time.
It's been out a minute, I feel like. But yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Kylee, I want to say this. Thank you. Thank you for telling me it's okay. It's okay. I can stop. And I love the fact you're really here with a heart to help someone, to bring kind of some structure, some intentionality into the chaos. It's so good. And I think right now in this turbulent time that we live in the world that we live in, and who knows what's coming in November, we don't even know, we don't even care. But I love the fact that you're really trying to help folks. To me, that's awesome. So thanks so much for being here today. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. It was a privilege, Neil. I appreciate it.
Guys and gals, kids and campers alike, I hope you fastened your seatbelts because the sign is on. Please make your way back to your seats. We begin our descent to ending today's show. Boy, what a vomit session on my part. Ugh, that is as real as you'll probably ever hear me with a guest. That's never happened. I want to ask a favor. Just know this. This is really hard sometimes. I love that Kylee gave me permission to stop. So let me ask you a question. Let me make this about you in this moment and not about me, because I don't want to make it about me. Make it about you. What's that one thing right now that maybe you need to stop and really not set a resolution, not set a foolish thing, but really set a goal and set a vision. A land without a vision and a man without a vision will perish. Food for thought. What's your vision? Where you want to go? Let me tell you this. My new friend Kylee, she can help you. Hit her up. Don't forget this as we get out of here too. Don't ever forget. Remember, when you walk in other people's shoes, you really do get a different perspective on life. I also want to say this. Join me right back here, would you? Next week as we walk in other people's shoes.